I'm going to talk a little bit about with the success of the CDM movement so far, and people not going to work, refusing to go to work, these sorts of things, really, cutting the economy down very, very quickly. How has that been affecting the Myanmar military? Are there defections that are happening in place there? And maybe why haven't there been more? So, there have been some defections from the military, some defections from the police. We've seen, particularly across the border into India, that there's been, I believe, a few hundred people who have crossed the border there. And a few people have been interviewed that I've seen. And so we're even seeing some people are leaving messages on social media. There's a reason why we haven't seen a whole lot of that. And that is because the military is a very, very solid organization. And again, based upon fear. If you desert the army, if you desert the police forces, then that can be, the death penalty. It certainly can be all of the things up to the death penalty too. That sort of treasonous sort of behavior, as I would call it. So that keeps a lot of people in line. We've got these high level people, the elite level people, and everyone below. Like, if anybody steps out of line, if anybody, say, refuses to, go and shoot those people, they could very well be paying for it, by going to jail with their life, their family going to jail, their families' lives. So it's that sort of fear that really keeps things in place, and keeps people from defecting. The other part is that, and this has been something for years, is that these people are getting paid. This is a job for them. And the military, because they have more money, it's been a pretty well-paying job, especially for people who don't necessarily have a lot of education. So there's a lot of these different things that are playing into that. And as well, if you are in that organization, the maybe you could call it brainwashing, but the culture of that is a thing. Oh, well, the people need to listen to us because we are the powerful ones. We are the right ones. And if you're having troubles, trying to see some connections, even if we look at Western police forces, for example, not saying that the Myanmar military is like the police force in your city, but for a lot of these organizations that have a power structure, they're taking care of each other. Because if you're a police officer, for example, and you rat on another police officer, that could mean you being ostracized from your job. That could mean you losing your job. That could be this life-changing thing. And so, a lot of people don't necessarily want to take that risk. Now, of course, in the Myanmar military, we can just, like a lot of things in Myanmar, we just crank it up, and the stakes are just so much higher. So that's one of the reasons why we're not seeing those same level of defections from the military. Now, I was part of a conversation with Amnesty International, a local conversation that we had in the last week or so, and they talked about how to break this like mafia-esque kind of hold that's there. And this scholar had said that if the Myanmar military high up in the ranks, if there was enough of a rift that the Myanmar military could break off into two, that might be a thing where somebody's just like, okay, well, we're not game with, on board with this, all of the awful things that we're doing to the people. We want to be protecting the people. If there can be enough of that, and if it can happen high enough, then maybe there can be some sort of a break, some sort of larger way of there being, defections. But at the moment, it's a real stranglehold.